Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take another look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on here for this weekend. Mostly good stuff, not great for altcoins, just based on the current scenario here. In other words, as of this moment, most alts are down about 5 to 10%. Pretty much safe to say that like most altcoins, if you take a look at them, they're sweeping majority, if not all, maybe about half to 75% of their profits from earlier in the week. Okay, so anything that's come up from Monday has now been kind of hit that old reset button. We can see Bitcoin dominance is increasing. So if you're going to be trading altcoins today, again, low leverage, low position size, maybe a good recommendation there. But the truth is the bottom may not be in for some altcoins. I'm going to double check and confirm a few things because we have a couple open longs from yesterday that quickly dipped down. We're averaged in nicely on one of them, but another one looks kind of it's not the greatest market right now. Let's just put it that way. All right. So, anyways, all jokes aside, what's Bitcoin doing? We're here for Bitcoin, of course. So we're going to take a quick peek at some important back-end data there while we're letting this load. If you could please just hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. Always love to hear your feedback and deeply appreciate you just being an amazing part of my life. So let's take a look here. Liquidation is going to be on the left-hand side and the right, of course. We got 7 days that we're going to look at first. And this number here is just kind of an indication of where we're at in the overall sense. In other words, when we take a look at the liquidation data, we can see 106 to 109, pretty heavy concentration there. Wouldn't be surprised if we still see that get hit here soon. I do feel like with us bouncing off that local support, that local high, we have a decent chance of holding that level. But it would be nice if we don't have to test that again. We want to establish higher highs and higher lows. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is 106 to 107 is that next specific area of liquidation. We do have anywhere as low as 100.5 down as low as 102. So that little range of 100.5 to 102 is also somewhat of a heavier, it's becoming a heavier concentration there because people keep taking more longs, right? Again, the more longs we see in the market, the more likely the price is to retest those levels depending on how concentrated they are. We take a look here at liquidation delta. This is actually very good. That sell-off has been helpful. It's tapering off a little bit with our liquidation. In other words, we don't want to have too many long liquidation levels at any given time. You have this number too high for too long, it's a problem. So seeing it taper off is actually a good thing, but the general consensus here is that taking a short into this isn't the greatest idea. And I get it, shorting at 105, 106, sure, after we sweep that liquidation, but that's come and gone already, right? That ship has sailed. There's no use trying to force a short right now into a support range, which again, we've established yesterday as 99.7 to that 102.3 range. And the price actually bounced perfectly off that 102.3. If I wasn't sleeping, I probably would have taken a long there. Okay, so let's take a quick look here at open interest, and then we'll jump into the charts. Because open interest is nice because it really helps us understand areas that people are super heavy on their positions, reinforcing support levels, because oftentimes when those prices get to those levels, they'll try to save their trade, they'll add to their position, and it's just kind of a common area. So if we look here, we kind of zoom in, we can see, again, 99.7, and secondary to that about 101.5, okay? Obviously, there's some late longs here in the 104 to 102 range, but generally speaking, heaviest support is 105, 101.5 rather, and then 99.7, round number 100,000. Okay, let's take a look at this here, and I'll jump into the charts here really quick. But just take a look. This is a previous resistance level where we had a previous daily candlestick. Sorry, these are hourly candlestick closures at about 102.1, 102.3. We can see there. Look at that price comes down, bounced perfectly off that level. That's an example of how local highs are work as new lows. Okay, so once you break through it, this is when you want to try to get in. You don't want to try to FOMO in up here. Okay, again, you're going to miss opportunities because this may never happen, but it's a sweet opportunity when it does occur. So in hindsight, I wish I had been awake at 12 a.m. or something. Okay, so let's take a look here at the daily time frame. Work our way down. Quickly to note here, the daily time frame is still pretty darn bullish, folks. There's no other way around it. We're not super bullish though, which is good. So we haven't broken over 70 in the RSI. So as that kind of tapers off, goes sideways, we may be range bound between 100 and 105. Again, that's just a loose number. The key takeaway here is that the more time we spend in this area, now that we've broken through this local high, the better, okay? So it's actually a good thing if we go sideways for a couple of days here. Keep in mind, Monday, we have some inauguration shenanigans that are probably gonna take place, so just keep that in mind, okay? So take a look here, of course, we can see the MACD's converging, RSI swinging up here. There's a lot of really positive stuff here on the daily, so it really just kind of implies that while the price could still pull back to that 100,000 level, we may even see 97, 98K again, we're still in good shape being above those key areas, okay? So that's a good sign. But once again, we got a macro support at 100,000. We've got our local support here now at about 102.2 is just a good safe round number there. Okay, and you can again see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 4-hour candles, a 20-hour period back here that the price couldn't close above. Now that we have closed above, it's likely to be the new support. That's generally how support and resistance levels work, folks. When they're reinforced as a support later, it kind of confirms that that is a good area of interest, right? Now, I'm not proposing you just take a long to the moon right now per se, but we still have a lot of reasons why the price should continue higher. And these little knee-jerk reactions, these little corrections here that we're seeing, while they may seem significant, you know, a 3% correction from Bitcoin's pretty big, that's still pretty small in the overall sense, right? Compared to what we have for that support in that range. So I'm really liking the support range here as a strong potential area of interest to consider a long. So if the price does come down to 100,000, I'm going to be more than happy to take a long at that point. Obviously, there's other factors we want to look at. We don't just blindly do that. But at this point, it seems very sensible still. Okay, we're over 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is looking pretty good. We are starting to see that MACD divergence here, so keep in mind what goes up must come down. Momentum does eventually shift. It doesn't mean it's just going to continue to drop to zero, or we're going to see 80,000, 88,000 again. It just means that we are potentially shifting momentum, and we just got to kind of be mindful of that, right? We are overall moving averages here, which is super important. So again, maintaining the 20 is good, but I think we have a ton of confluence right here at this 98K range, and that's important. We have three important moving averages there, and a nice key fib level. So there's a lot of reasons why that's good. Keep in mind, I'm going to update the fib levels here soon, now that we're potentially pulling back and the daily candlestick has closed. But for the moment, we can see that there's a lot of confluence at 98,000. And I'll post a new playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord as per usual. Looks a little something like this if you're not familiar. Okay, so it's all there for you. Let's take a look at the hourly time frame and just recognize where we're at here. We are starting to see a slight shift in momentum. Again, that kind of it's reflected on the 4-hour time frame with the moving averages, or sorry, not the moving averages, but the RSIs and stochastic RSI more so. But when we look at the lagging span, we can see it intersecting with the price action. Usually means that if you're interested in long, you want to wait for the price to break out of this descending trend first. We're above the cloud, which is always good. Conversion line's now below or within the baseline. So this is just kind of a little bit of a mixed bag saying that, hey, you know, we don't have like an optimal scenario to try to get in right now, okay? So if the price does come back down to this 102 level, that may be a good consideration for entry. I'm interested, of course, in these two areas, 102 and 100 even as a close approximate. Even though we'd be breaking below the cloud at that point, there's a lot of confluence again here at these two ranges, and I'm super comfortable in considering a long position there. Keep in mind, we may see some shenanigans on Monday, so it may be best to just close your position leading into it. If I recall correctly, the last inauguration was pretty uneventful, or more so uneventful to the downside, not really a good situation. But that wasn't really the best precedent for crypto. This is a much different scenario. People could just go crazy and FOMO in like nuts. Either way you look at it, between now and then, it's a weekend. As per usual, treat it like a weekend, and just make sure you don't overdo it. All right. So at this point, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. Overall sentiment still looking good. Just keep in mind a lot of knee-jerk reactions with Bitcoin dominance coming up. Altcoins just kind of like freaking out and dropping like a rock. But you got to also recognize too, a lot of altcoins, there was tons of profit on them left to be taken. And it's very typical for Friday/Saturday to have that happen. So it's not abnormal behavior at all. This is not like a terrible situation. I would just not be too worried about it. All right, cool. That's what we got there for Bitcoin. I hope you learned something today. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.